Right now, we're going to go to line 2 and speak to Emily Lavender, who is in Victoria, BC, and she's with PETA. And thanks for joining us today.
Hi, thank you.
I wanted, to talk to you about this new app that PETA has released, the Seals Hero. I understand it was developed in Australia, and it invites players to use a variety of means to save seals. And I'm just curious as to why now, why 25 years after the white coat harvest has been discontinued, and when obviously with the EU bans, etc., the seal hunt is pretty small compared to what it has been in the past.
Yeah, countries around the world, U.S., EU, Taiwan, Mexico, and even Russia, which imported 95% of Canada's seal pelts, have all banned seal fur imports. And this is just a way to educate people around the world about the tens of thousands of seals who are beaten or shot and killed each year in Canada. And it's just a fun way to get people to learn about a serious issue.
Some people asking why there isn't a comparable app for kangaroos. Apparently there are calls of not only kangaroos but all sorts of wild animals in different jurisdictions when their numbers perhaps are having an impact on other species in the environment. And the suggestion is that seals have a certain cuteness to them that allows these sorts of things to take advantage and unduly target them, compared to other species.
Well, PETA speaks out for all species, and we have spoken out against video games, like hunting games as well. We encourage people to choose games that aren't violent towards animals, and we hope that people will like this game because it's allowing people to help animals rather than...
Sorry, I got to interrupt. I wasn't referring to the games. I was referring to the actual harvest or culls that are happening around the world, and they don't seem to get necessarily the same amount of focus or treatment as the seal hunt does. It seems that this is perhaps a moneymaker for PETA, or the fact that seals have a certain appeal aesthetically leads PETA to focus on them, like I say, unduly, because the harvest is really small now compared to others happening around the world.
Well, it's not necessarily their cuteness that we're focusing on. It's the way that they're killed is so cruel.
They're shot now, right?
Yeah. A lot of them are shot. Often it just goes through their face. You see a lot of footage. Every year the footage that is taken, you see this. They're shot from the boats. The bullet goes through their face, and the seal is thrashing about in pain.
But there's a very strict 3-step process that has been approved and adhered to. And, of course, a lot of people will argue, and apparently a lot of scientists back it up, that the most effective and most humane method is the one that is aesthetically less appealing. And, therefore, the only reason that guns are being used now as opposed to hack-a-picks is that people didn't like those images. So seals perhaps could be suffering more now because of the currently employed killing tactics that doesn't necessarily always do as good a job.
Yeah, well, the thing is that, it's taking place out in dangerous conditions, the ice, and, there's really no way to make the seal hunt completely humane. Like I said, they get shot through their face. They're left to suffer until the sealer is finally able to get up to them and crush their skull, or they crush their skull. But a lot of times on the footage, we see that they don't do the 3-step process. We've seen them hook seals through the face, drag them across the ice into the boat, and the seal is still moving in the boat afterwards. And they'll have to hit them on the head again to finally crush their skull. So they aren't actually, a lot of times they aren't doing the 3-step process. So
isn't that the nature of animal harvest or slaughter? Killing is an ugly business. It's not necessarily ever as perfectly humane as we would want it to be. I mean, we consume animals, we use animal products. The human species has been doing this for millennia. Why now focus so much on one particular one, well beyond, it seems to me, many others? Not that it's the only one that gets a lot of profile, but it just seems to be well over the top, especially when you see games like this promoting something that really doesn't happen that much, given, you know, the size of the herds these days because of a reduction in seal harvesting.
Yeah, well, I as a campaign, I mean, countries around the world are banning it, and I think caring people all over the world just want to see an end to it once and for all. And I think that with the WTO, the EU ban, everything like this happening right now, I think people just really want it to see it end once and for all.
Do you think it matters that removing human beings from the equation allows the population to soar and perhaps have other detrimental impacts on the environment and other species? Is that a factor to be considered at all?
Well, nature regulates itself.
Well, we're part of nature. We're not completely divorced from the natural process. We have been ever since human beings, have walked the earth.
Yeah, well, I think we're causing a little more destruction than we naturally would. So I think in terms of seals especially, nature regulates itself. And what we're just asking is for people to make choices that cause the least harm to animals.
Okay, and be damned the harm to human beings in certain parts of the world who have relied on this and made it a part of their lives for centuries.
Well, there's no justification for skinning animals while they still may be conscious, hooking them in the face, dragging across the ice, where they may choke on their own blood before being skinned. There's just really no justification for this.
Well, of course, it's a matter of opinion exactly how much of that still goes on. We'll probably have to leave it there. I appreciate your time. Anything else you want to add before you say goodbye today?
I think that, thank you so much, and feel free to visit our website, PETA.org, and maybe check out the game.
Okay, well, perhaps we can check in with you again after some time passes, and we'll see exactly how popular or successful the game has turned out to be.
Okay, absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Emily Lavender there, she's a campaigner with PETA.